Hey you witches, welcome back to Witchling Wednesday, where we're going to talk about which witch are you. For those of you who are new here, my name is Taya, and welcome to the channel. We like to talk about witchcraft here, especially traditional folkloric witchcraft, but witchcraft in general. And for those of you who are returning viewers, maybe coming in from another video, welcome back. And all of you, please consider subscribing. It's a great way to help build the channel, and it just brings joy to my heart when I see there are new subscribers to the channel. So yeah, which witch are you? Basically, what kind of witch are you? Now, this might not go in the direction some of you are thinking it is. Often you're going to see lists, right? Like, I'm a moon witch, a crystal witch, a green witch, a hedge witch, a sea witch. And I'm going to be kind of blunt. I find that that's kind of reductionist. It's kind of limiting to our practice. And here's why. To me anyways, that insinuates that green witches don't work with the moon, moon witches don't work with crystals, crystal witches don't hedge cross, and that's just limiting. I think we choose what interests us, and I think most of us practice little bits of all of that in our practice. I mean, we might not work with crystals, or maybe some witches don't work with the moon phases. I mean, that's okay. But in general, right, there's a lot of crisscrossing between all of those different traditional types that you're gonna see floating around on internet memes. And the other thing to consider is that there are so many more types of magic out there than what you're ever gonna find on a list. I mean, it's sort of endless, right? Any kind of magic that you can think of. So here's my proposal. In general, what are you interested in, right? Make a list and start learning. Advise and amend that list as necessary and just keep on plugging away. And those lists of what kind of witch are you are a great place to find those kind of ideas of what you might be interested in. But don't limit yourself to, I'm just going to be this one type of thing. Now, for me, this is what I did later in my craft and something that I wish I would have done a lot sooner. I think a good distinction is to sort of narrow it down in this way. Are you looking for specific rules and regulations to kind of fit yourself into, right? I want somebody to tell me what to do and then I want to go and do that. Or are you more loosey-goosey? I just want to figure it out for myself. I don't want other people to tell me what to do. Because if you're looking for oh my goodness, guys, it's a day. If you're looking for rules and regulations, you might be interested in looking into a specific traditions. And there are all kinds of different traditions out there that find witches within them that may not necessarily consider themselves to be witches, but would find witches in them, such as the occult, Kabbalah, Hermetics, Thelema, right? If you're interested in demonology and the Goetia, right? There's a sort of occult stream you can look at. Now, a lot of occultists would not consider themselves witches, but a lot of witches do consider themselves to be occultists. Maybe you're interested in more of a religious-based aspect. Maybe you're interested in a Wicca or Druidry, right? And again, a Druid might not consider themselves a witch, but I know that there are witches out there who consider themselves to be Druids. Maybe you're interested in traditional folkloric practices. There's lots of different sort of traditions that you can find that you can put yourself into. Keep in mind, some traditions are closed and some are open, and you need to sort of investigate that for yourself. Now, if you're more of a general sort of a person, again, are you interested in high magic or low magic? Are you interested in those occult practices, right? Demonology and the Goetia? Interesting stuff. Maybe you want to go and, find information about that. There's some great resources out there. I mean, a lot of those occult traditions are very old, right? Hundreds of years old, and there's all kinds of great grimoires and books written about how to practice within those traditions. But maybe you're more into low magic, like charms, folk magic, that kind of stuff. So where do you start with that? Again, this is where I just did a video on ancestry-based witchcraft. This is sort of where you would slot yourself in with that kind of an idea, is where are you from, right? What's your ancestry? But I get it. Maybe you're like, you know what? I'm Scottish, so I started learning Scottish folk terms, folk magic. You're like, maybe I don't know, Ukrainian, but I'm really not interested in, that kind of magic. So then you've got books and the internet. And this is really the place where you need to use those critical thinking skills. Because there's a lot of books out there and I'm just going to be blunt, there's a lot of crap out there. A lot of people who have written books and been like, here you go, this is the official How You Do Witchcraft book. And honestly, most of those are pretty limited and honestly not what a lot of witches do. They're great, get you interested in witchcraft books. I'll give them that, right? They're fun, they're fluffy, they're quick to read. But typically they're not something that as you develop and grow as a witch, you're gonna stick to as your whole practice. You're probably gonna grow beyond that. Here's what you wanna do. You need to look at where their information is coming from and determine if they're a credible author or not. Do your homework. To me, this is the big thing I just look for. Does the book have a bibliography or a suggested reading list? Somewhere where you can go and continue your path of learning. Or are they like, here's my book, it's everything you need to know? Which to me is very limiting and probably not the case. So again, look for those bibliographies, those suggested reading lists. Those are the kind of books that you want to be checking out. And use your critical thinking skills. Again, right? A lot of those books will talk about smudging. Smudging is a Native North American practice that is close to them. It is it's not just smoke cleansing. There's a ceremonial ritual that goes with it. So again, evaluate your sources. Are they credible, right? Do they talk about closed practices and make it sound like everybody can do it? Or are they, being very careful with what they're promoting? And, right? Are they pulling in a bunch of, voodoo work, which again is closed? Or are they, being respectful and coming up with their own practices? Not to say that it can't be close to what those other closed practices might be, but again, you need to use your critical thinking skills, right? And make sure that what they're doing isn't stepping on other people's toes. Anyways, I digress. So yeah, basically, are you a specific tradition or general practitioner? Are you interested in high or low magic? Those are the kind of distinctions that will sort of help you flesh out, I think, an easier way to learn what you're doing and where you're wanting to go with your witchcraft. So yeah, that's just hopefully a little bit more helpful than Moon Witch or Sea Witch. Let me know what you think. How did you develop your practice? What type of a witch are you? Leave me a comment. I am a traditional folkloric witch, is what I practice, is traditional folkloric witchcraft. I go back to my Scottish ancestry, so Scottish traditional witchcraft, I guess you would call it. Yeah, what do you practice? What do you do? I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, let me know what you think. Otherwise, we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks so much.